song a lot. Makes me happy.
I like that song.
Me too.
Yeah. We're starting right there.
Still better.
Right there.
And if you're like, what song is that they speak of? They talk about video games, not songs. Oh, we're talking about This Is America by Childish Gambino.
It's real good. It's like we were to say, it's way outside the kind of music I normally listen to, but I really, really, really dig that song.
Also take Bonfire.
Yeah,
That
too.
song's dope.
We listened to that too.
Oh, I'm like, wait, what did you just say?
We listened to that today too. It's also very cool.
Oh.
It's just clever writing. I'm more into that. Like,
Right.
Obviously, that song might say more, but just like when people come up with really creative lines in rap music, like that's what I like about rap is when you can do cool wordplay, because that doesn't exist in other genres for the most part.
The raps.
Yeah, the raps.
Yeah, I've heard of the raps.
I hear you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good. All right, so let's try and fly through this, because you've got to leave in 45 minutes.
48 minutes.
48, okay. Welcome to Bite Me Podcast, episode 77. My name is Adam West.
Cliff Johnson.
Can't we just fast forward it later?
Right? I mean, so
I'm the Dylan. Okay, moving on.
What did you say?
I said, can't we just fast forward it later?
Yeah, but no, after that?
I'm the Dylan.
There it is.
Yeah.
So
I'm the
actually,
Dylan.
I wonder if we think that people are going to listen to us in 1.5 or 2 times speed, does that mean that we can actually take our time? You'll still be out of here on time.
I think that's how it works. Have you ever listened to it? Like, I heard a bunch of people say, oh, yeah, I listen to a lot of my podcasts sped up. And have you ever listened to our podcast sped up? It's real weird.
I listen to stuff fast.
Do you?
Generally.
No, I don't.
I can't.
Yeah. It took me like 20 episodes to get used to the sound of my own voice on a podcast. I cannot get used to the sound of my own voice sped up on a podcast. It's not good.
You know. So, all right, this week in the news, we've got an Avengers kind of crossover thing happening in Fortnite. It went live yesterday. So if you're listening to this on Thursday, that was 2 days ago. Anyway, also, if you want to make a Zelda game, well, you could probably do that. Nintendo's hiring. What is this stuff that I didn't put in the notes? I don't know what this is. Get a cool Mercy skin and help charity. I'm guessing that's an Overwatch thing.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Battle Royale MOBA. I read about this. I'm not excited for it. I wonder if it'll get Kevin back into it, though.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
You for cheese?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
about
important.
That. E3 leaks are happening.
They are.
That sounds so gross. Nintendo's announced there won't be a Switch virtual console for Switch. Who wrote that headline? There won't be a Switch virtual console for Switch. No, you don't say.
I've gotten like 12 hours of sleep in the last 3 days.
Oh, God.
Brevity, Cliff. Brevity.
Oh, and do you want to play Steam games on your phone? No.
Maybe you do.
But maybe you do. We'll talk about that. Plus questions, some cheap free games, which there's a big one in next month's Humble Bundle, which I'm kind of curious about.
I already pre-bought it.
Oh, I'm sure you did. But first, we start with what we're playing. And this week, I'll go first. I'm playing God of War.
Hey, me too.
As much as I can. I'm trying to dole it out in small doses because I really want to enjoy it. I put it on easy so I can get the story. The story's fantastic. So good. However, Kevin... My Kevin is playing it, and he's playing it on the Give Me God of War difficulty, which is the super ultra crazy hard difficulty where it's like basically, 2-hit kills from the most basic of enemies if you're not careful. And what's interesting, I forgot about this. If you set it to Give Me God of War difficulty, you cannot change out of that difficulty.
Oh, geez.
You are locked in. You are locked until you either say, meh, I'm
Mercy!
done, or you finish the game.
Wow.
Yeah. So, there's that.
I'm also playing it on easy.
Right? Have you found a Valkyrie yet to fight? Okay, so I got confused when I first started playing the game, and I thought I'd run into some Valkyries. I don't know why I thought that, because they didn't look like what a Valkyrie should look like, even to the most normal of people. And then I found one, and it's even on easy. I'm like, well, no, I'm not gonna. Yeah. That's not gonna happen.
I'm coming around on this game a little bit.
As one should.
Yeah, like I would not take back anything I said about it, but I kind of wonder if I was. Last week you said something like, put it on easy and just kind of play and enjoy the story. And so I just kind of like, oh, there's some sort of main quest thing, whatever, I'll get to that later. And I'm at the lake place. And I've just been like cruising around in my little boat listening to Kratos tell real bad stories to his kid, which I find absolutely hilarious.
Is it real bad because he's a bad storyteller, or
Yes.
real bad because
it's actually very funny. I don't remember. I wish
The stories are great, but he's
the
just a
stories
really
are all
bad
just
storyteller.
parables. Like it's the frog and the scorpion and the whatever. There are all these stories with a moral. And I wish I could remember what the first one was, because it 100% reminded me of the one from Up where Doug's telling a joke and he's like, it's funny because the squirrel dies.
Yeah, and what was that? He was like,
I don't remember what it is.
No, he didn't.
No,
because he died.
And his kid's like, you've never told a story before, have you?
I don't tell them often, boy.
It's real funny, but it's like, I think my biggest complaint about the game now is I'm like, oh, why are there all these dumb people fighting? Like, I just want to like cruise around with Kratos and his kid and like tell crazy stories and occasionally have to solve a puzzle. Like, why do these dumb demon things keep coming up? I have to check my axe at. Like, I want to fight significantly less and just like hang out and have father-son time with Kratos more.
Now, did you see the video? I think it was Polygon. They did. They had a thing with the guy who voiced Kratos, and it was him telling dad jokes. And in
It's
Kratos'
good.
voice.
That's pretty funny.
It's hilarious. Oh, yes, you must watch.
I've really, when I changed the way I was playing that game, I've started enjoying it a lot more. So,
It's good.
And I adore, and I don't remember his name, Brock? The merchant dude.
Oh, yeah. That's I think it's Brock or something like that.
He's awesome. I love
blue one?
Yeah, the blue dude.
Okay.
I love the first time they're
You've
like,
not met his brother.
no, I haven't met his brother
Okay.
yet.
They're he's got one of the best personalities I have ever seen thrown on like an NPC in one of these kind of games. It's his little quirk is it's ridiculous. It's amazing.
I love the fact that they run into him, the first time. And he's like, yeah, I'm here. And then, you cruise around for a little while. And like 2 hours later, he's just at another place. And they're like, how did you get here? He's like, stop asking stupid questions.
Yeah.
And then you just keep running into him at random places. And after the first time, they're like, well, I guess it's just what he does now. So
That's what he do.
It's good. It's real. There's a lot of humor in that game that I don't think you really realize unless you kind of watch for it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's real
good stuff. Other than that, I'm also still playing Celeste. Just I'm taking my time with these games.
Yeah.
I know I've had God of War, for now, 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. I'm about 2/3 through it, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a nice leisurely stroll that I'm
it's a
going
good game.
on.
It's a
And
good
Celeste, if you've got $20 and a Switch, get it.
Or a bunch of other systems.
Yeah, get it on the Switch. Literally get it on the Switch. It's made for the Switch. It feels great on the Switch. It looks great on the Switch. It plays great on the Switch. It's made for the Switch. Get it on the Switch.
Don't switch. Get it on the Switch.
There could be other systems too. If you don't have a Switch, you can get it on the Xbox.
You
It'll be
can,
fine.
but silly.
Buy a
Xbox,
Switch instead, I guess.
There you go.
Anywho.
So anyway, that's that. So you're playing God of War, and you're also playing?
Yeah, I started. I don't know
Dance
where their
Dance
class
Revolution.
are. Yeah, I did not start.
He was doing a little
I
jive.
guarantee you, I did not start Dance Dance Revolution. No, I started playing Destiny 2 again. A buddy of mine picked it up, and so I was going to play with him last weekend, and we both kind of forgot that you have to play like an hour and a half of that game before you could play it multiplayer. So I started a new character. I'm trying to remember what the classes are. I used to be a hunter.
What's
the like
Titan,
kind of
Warlock?
Titan, yeah. So I started a Titan character and rolled through the first hour and a half of that game again. And man, I forgot how great that game is. I really hope he actually gets around to playing it with me, or maybe I'll go back in on my hunter and play with Kevin and my brother or something, because the new DLC launched yesterday.
Oh, is it out already?
Yeah, so
I should probably get in there and maybe.
I think we're actually going to talk about that later. No. Anyway, yeah, the new DLC. New DLC
Well, there's
came
a question
down.
about it.
Oh, you're right. That's yeah.
That's what you're thinking of.
Perfect.
Oh,
So we'll talk about Destiny 2 later. But yeah, the game's fun. But I'm also playing Portal Knights, which you bought Dragon Quest Builders, which is kind of similar. Yeah, this is Portal Knights is another kind of Minecrafty game. Where you mine things and you craft things, and this like the kind of the game of this one, though, is you have to find these portals. And you'll go to different places. You know, the goal of each place is to get all these resources from them and then go through a portal to go to the next place. But I've been playing it 4-player co-op. I've been playing 3-player co-op with my kid and my brother. But you can play up to 4-player co-op, and it's just kind of fun and leisurely and a cool game to play, you know, in the morning. But it's free on Game Pass. So
sweet.
Yeah, you can give it a shot. Unfortunately, I paid like $25 for it 2 months ago on the Switch, but whatever. Yeah,
whatevs.
That's what you
but
get.
It's fun. You know, it would be a great game if you have a kid who's probably between like 8 and 12, and you're looking for a game to play with them. And you have 2 Xboxes, like you do. Like I do.
Like you do.
3. But anyway, who's keeping track?
You are, clearly.
Clearly.
He's going to lose track soon.
Do you know how awesome it would have been when I was a kid to have 3 Xboxes? That's the reason I grew up and got a job.
My brothers and I fought over who got to play our NES.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, like...
I remember those days. Like, luckily I was like the only kid in the house, so like my games were mine, but when I went next door, they had like 5 siblings that were all trying to play the N64, and it was war.
Siblings are stupid. Give me my stuff back.
Right? Yeah. No, I have enough Xboxes now that one's just not even hooked up. It's magic. Anyway.
Dylan, what are you playing?
You know what I actually did play? I played Kingdom Rush. I don't know
nice.
if you like. Yeah. I forgot how fun those like lane tower defense games are. Like that took me back. That's what I thought I would talk about for a second. Now, I had a lot of fun, but then it like reminded me of playing Bloons in
I don't know
high school.
any of these games.
So
my kid still plays Bloons HD.
Yeah.
They're just tower defense games. You set up a bunch of, things go along a path, and you set up defenses, and you try and keep all the things from getting on the path.
Right. Yeah. And in high school, like, that's the game you could kind of get away with playing. Yep. Like you'd find it on your computer, and you could put it in a browser. And then originally Bloons was like you launch the darts and try to pop the balloons over different obstacles. Okay. But then it ended up turning into Bloons Tower Defense, where different colored balloons, or balloons for short, would travel around the path, and you would pop them with different various dart towers or laser
like
monkeys.
A monkey thing? Yeah, I knew there's some sort of monkey tie on
but I think like they have the 5th iteration of it now. It's like Bloons Tower Defense 5, which I think I'm going to get on my iPad.
Yeah, I think that's what my kid plays.
Like, I don't know, it just felt all good and nostalgic to like go play those games. I played Kingdom Rush a lot in college when I would like sit around in the cafeteria eating. I could play it on my iPad and just set up towers and watch the little minions get whacked and bludgeoned and impaled by
good old family.
It's an interesting game. You should try Their Billions. You might enjoy that game.
Every time I pop onto Steam, I think, or somewhere, like I see that pop up, and I'm really, really curious about that.
Yeah, and so Their Billions is a tower defense game essentially with zombie hordes. So you are in charge of building a city, but it's not just like put up crazy things. It's you have to like keep your people alive and build technology trees to build out things, and then a couple of zombies come in and your things will kill them, and then a couple more zombies will come in, and then there's like a countdown timer, I think. And at some point in time, not literally billions, but a huge number of zombies will attack your town, and you have to, hope that. And as soon as one gets inside your tower, they'll start infecting your townspeople. And so it's all just about. I mean, it's just a really complicated tower defense game. You might really like that.
Cool,
yeah, I've heard good things.
Cool. That's it. That's all you've had time to play.
Let's move on.
Okay,
we're in fast forward. Remember, Adam?
Okay,
you're killing time.
If you're listening to us on iTunes or wherever, like us, subscribe us, rate us, review us, and we'll send you stuff. Okay. Now, that's done, we go to...
News!
There we go. Okay. Now, first in news.
This is the worst episode ever. I love it.
I think I closed my show notes.
Thanos is coming to Fortnite. Watch out for that snap.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Because he can
neither of us have actually seen Infinity War.
Spoiler alert.
But
I just got the movie spoiled.
This is not a spoiler. If you know anything about any of this, the whole thing is he wants the gauntlet with the stone so that he can knock away, like wipe out half the universe with a snap of his finger.
Yeah.
That's what he says he wants to do.
All I know
is
he's
ever said.
All I know is that there's a bunch of memes on the internet showing little people turning into little triangles.
Those memes are great.
Yeah, I'm going to see this movie because I don't think I can go
see this movie.
I don't think I can go another weekend without it being spoiled. So.
Are you going this weekend?
I hope so. I've just been super busy, so hopefully
see this movie. What the crap?
No, we were going to try and go last weekend, and we just didn't have time. But hopefully this weekend.
Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, if you play the Fortnite, Thanos is making an appearance for a limited time in there. I think the match is
through the end of the month. I think.
Yeah. Basically, a meteorite or something lands, you rush there to get it, you get the gauntlet, and if you get it before anybody else, you turn into Thanos.
Yeah, but then he is real noisy or something, so he draws people. Apparently, once you're Thanos, everyone knows where you are, and you can die, and then someone else can pick up the infinite gauntlet.
Once you knocked out, they pick up the gauntlet, and then whatever. It's a fun little crossover thing. I think it's...
And it's a specific mode, too. It's not like he's in Fortnite. Like, you have to play Thanos mode. Yeah. I was actually reading earlier that apparently it was just a super organic thing. This wasn't like, Epic talking to lawyers at Disney. It was literally like the folks at Epic are big fans of Marvel, and the folks at Marvel are big fans of Fortnite, and just said like, dude, we should make some game stuff.
Like, this could be fun.
Yeah. And so I think that's a lot of people are saying it feels really natural and feels really not product placement-y, and that's a lot of fun. So
that's really cool. I'm glad it sounds like they did it right. If you play are you still playing Fortnite at all?
A little bit.
We should get back into it because I'd really like to try this, and I'd kind of like to try Fortnite again.
To play with. You can only play so much by yourself, and then you feel like you're antisocial, and then you go do something else.
And are you playing it on PC, Xbox?
Everything can play together now, so...
Well, except Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, but
really?
We can mitigate that most of the time, I think. So,
okay.
We should try and get together maybe this weekend or something.
Yeah,
and play
I should put it on my Xbox.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think this is. I have a couple thoughts about this. One, it's like it sounds like a cool mode, and even apart from like the fact that it's Thanos, it's a very interesting idea to implement as just a mechanic in the game, because I think everyone loves the Juggernaut idea, like that's been in multiple games through the years. Like Halo, there was a mode called Juggernaut where you would become the Juggernaut if you got the skull or whatever, and you'd be a superpower, right? But like the idea of Battle Royale, where there's one dastardly villain that is against. I mean, everyone's still against him, but at that moment, you're like, well, this guy's super powerful. Let's get him.
Yeah.
And then if you get him, it's cool. But then when I first saw this, the thing I thought, though, immediately was like, if they continue this and they make Marvel skins, they will literally print money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can you just imagine?
It's
crazy.
It's dirty if they do it.
I love it.
It's just people would go... Bananas.
Well, I'm glad that they just threw Thanos himself in there as one thing, and they didn't like, hey, you guys can now play as the Avengers, and like had all these weird superpowers and things like that, because that I think would have...
And that to me is what makes this hey, this is a cool little thing, let's try it, and not a like, hello, this is the marketing department of Disney calling.
But it also can be a secret trap to say, we love this, and now we can secretly introduce these skins over time, and we will print money, and you will be okay with it, because initially we had a very good praise
over
that
money printing idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had a few $1 million ideas.
Just a few.
They've not really.
They've just been ideas, though.
Exactly. So yeah, if you play Fortnite, if you've taken part in the new event with Thanos, let us know what you think about it. Just drop us a note in our Discord or share your thoughts on our Facebook page or group.
Heard about the Facebooks?
Huh? Yeah. What? Okay.
You can beep us on our pagers at bitemepodcastpager.com.
You're too young to actually have owned a pager.
Yeah.
Did you own a pager?
I've seen them, though.
I totally owned a pager.
I've seen them in real life.
Yeah.
No. I did not have.
Adam had one of those satellite phones.
I did have I had one of the big brick bag phones.
Nice.
Not even lying. It was great.
You put it in your backpack?
Yeah. No, not when I was in high school. I got it when I was like my first radio gig.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, I'm making all this money. I'm going to get my $400 a month phone. It was stupid.
Sounds
I had a pager
stupid.
because
It was really dumb.
I had a pager because I worked retail as a retail manager at the time, and like my store needed to get a hold of me sometimes. It was real bad.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it.
Right.
I lived in Central Missouri. I'm like, look at what I got. I have no service anywhere because I live in Central Missouri. Anyway, so if you happen to make video games, if you're in the industry and you're a level designer and you want a job and you want to maybe work on Zelda.
And probably live in Japan.
Yeah. Nintendo's hiring.
I wonder what... So, I mean, that must mean that there's another... I mean, not that I don't think anyone thought, like, Breath of the Wild wouldn't be getting a sequel. But there's no DLC for that. So, presumably, this means that a new Zelda game is already in development.
I'd imagine, because you figure they're a year and a half into...
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So... but oddly enough, even though Nintendo's paying for your housing allowance and moving allowance and daily transport and blah, blah, blah stuff, the salary doesn't seem all that much.
What is it?
The salary starts at $34,000 and goes up to $74,000.
Is that in U.S. dollars?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not...
That's the
they're
salary.
paying for housing, too?
They're paying for housing and a moving allowance.
Housing's usually your primary cost, so...
Yeah, that's like a 30% of your income cost. So.
I feel like that's just... I don't know. I still feel like that's low.
But
yeah. But anyway, if you want to apply, you could check out Nintendo's recruitment page. Just go there and check that out. It's... I don't know anybody that could do this. Except for who did I talk to at BetaCon? Who was the level designer for Tacoma?
Oh,
Anna Schumann?
Yeah, no, that's not right.
Is that right?
I don't remember what her name is.
Wait a minute.
I follow her on. You've got her business card right there.
That's not her.
I follow her on the Twitters.
Yeah. Anyway,
good.
yeah. So her.
Apparently, if you're not into moving to Japan, Microsoft is opening a new studio in California.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
that's closer.
With all my
Way
level
closer.
design
It has
experience.
better proximity to Disneyland.
That is very true. Yeah.
I'd love to work for Nintendo, though. Why does it have to be a level designer gig?
Right.
Why can't they just be like, we're going to hire that funny guy and stick him up at the front desk?
You
I
could
would
do
do
like
that.
you could do like the same thing you do here for Nintendo. They got to record.
I could produce the Nintendo Power podcast.
That, or record
do that.
VO audio for games. Like, you got skills.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, there's a cool Mercy skin, and you can help charity. All I saw was pink Mercy skin, and I knew exactly what that was for. That's really cool.
Yeah. Looks like it's $15. It is available for purchase now. Started on May 8th and goes through the 21st, and 100% of that goes to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So the skin is actually very cool looking.
That's pretty cool.
And if you're a Mercy main, it might be worth your $15.
Or if you just want to get a free a cool skin or
And give
a
some
free
money to
skin
charity.
along with the donation
Definitely.
too.
Right.
Definitely. Apparently, there's a Pink Mercy T-shirt available in the Blizzard Gear Store as well.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good swag.
I still need to play Overwatch at some point.
Yeah. Have you never?
I've never
Man,
played
we've
it.
talked
I don't
about
even
that
own
so
it.
many times. We should do that.
You are
We should quit working and just play video games.
Wouldn't
all the
that be
time,
lovely?
right?
ridiculous.
Okay, all right. Next, Battle Royale MOBA for cheese. Explain.
So
Dota
has a new game mode called the Underhollow, which I think is really cool. And apparently you have to have the 2018 International Battle Pass to get access to this.
Okay.
But
How does one?
What
get
in the
battle
world
pass?
does that
I
mean?
don't know. I'm sure it's something you buy.
Okay.
I love spending money.
Right? So it's a new game mode that has 3-player teams setting off in a competitive quest for cheese, where you battle through labyrinths with monsters and the other enemy squads as you search for Roshan's rarest cheese and work to be the last team standing. So this is a very non-standard Dota map. And I just adore the fact that it's for cheese.
Is that like what do they normally?
I don't have any
battle
idea.
for in Dota?
You don't play Dota either, do you?
No, but I mean, I'm kind of familiar with the MOBAs.
We should just play this. Like, I've never played Dota before. This should be our jump into it.
I've watched
gonna
Kevin play Dota, and it's too much clickety click
Yeah.
and zooming around a map and weird noises and things and stuff, and I don't understand it.
I watched the entire
I will die.
Dota Internationals last year. I mean, I watched like 4 days of Dota, and I still don't understand it at all. I want to. I really do, because I think it's a super big blind spot in my life, but it just looks so confusing. But I really, really, really like the idea of this being a search for cheese. But the Battle Royale, like it's I think every game will have a Battle Royale mode soon. But I really didn't think that MOBAs would be this close to getting in on that action. So it's kind of fun.
I mean, I think it kind of makes sense. Like, it's not that big. It's not that big of a leap.
I would be kind of curious, though, if you just kill the other teams, if you still have to find the cheese, or if you win just by,
Yeah, objective-based Battle Royale is kind of weird.
It's kind of interesting. Well, and like that used to be like back in the day when we used to play Counter-Strike. You
It just
had
made me think, and it kind of hurt.
No, don't do that. You had the terrorists and you had the counter-terrorists, and the
Objective was hostages or bomb.
well, the objective was the bomb, but you didn't have
just
to
play deathmatch.
Yeah, if you just killed everyone, they couldn't set the bomb. So yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges in video games when you do something that's objective based.
Yeah.
Is making it actually objective based and not just deathmatch. Because that's what literally almost every game turns
I just remember
into.
when I played with two buddies when we play after work. And whichever one got the bomb would just drop the bomb, because if you killed all the counter terrorists, you won too. Yeah. So it was easier a lot of times than planting the bomb. So Adam's face.
Sorry, I was looking at the next story and I'm like, I see all these things.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about that.
Oh, okay. E3 is coming up. What, about 6 weeks away? Barely. Actually, maybe 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's soon.
It's the weekend of my birthday. And there are already, not already leaks coming out. It's about time we started seeing some leaks for this.
There were not many last year either.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you figure 5 weeks out. Yeah. This is the time where it's going to start churning. And I'm just looking at the retail listings from Walmart in Canada.
Guess who's not happy about this?
I'm pretty sure E3. Okay. All of them. So there's some E3 leaks. The placeholders on retail listings for Walmart Canada have added a few surprises, including the new Splinter Cell, Rage 2, Lego DC Villains, Gears of War 5, and a new Assassin's Creed and Just Cause 4. What? All right.
I really heard was Splinter Cell, and that's enough to get me Jones.
Yeah. New Destiny something, whatever Destiny Comet is. Yeah. The Rage 2 announcement was very much a
what's Rage?
So Rage is a game made by Bethesda. It sold but didn't sell super well. Like 2 years ago, Bethesda kind of came out like, hey, maybe it sold well enough to do it. We'll see. And then has been just totally radio silent until today, where on their Twitter feed they took a picture of the thing and like drew a bunch of pictures and said like, this is the incorrect art and that font's wrong. It should be all capitals. Hey, Walmart, we have a couple notes. But then someone asked Pete Hines that works at Bethesda about where the next Doom is, and he says, go buy a Magic 8-ball at Walmart and ask it.
Nice.
Rage was a cool game.
I heard it was great.
I think it did under-deliver a little bit because it was super hyped, but the game was beautiful. And it played well. I don't think it quite gave you enough.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of ran through it, and that was kind of it.
A friend of mine, Tim, actually, I think was just playing that, actually, and said it's fun, but even still, it's kind of buggy. Mm-hmm. But that it was a cool game. It wasn't, it came out quite a few years ago, and it was still is not perfect. So, meh. That's a big leak. That's a big leak.
Yeah, some of the other games on there are The Division 2, Beyond Good and Evil 2, The Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy 7.
A lot of twos.
Yeah. So, and Forza Horizons 5.
Which doesn't make any sense because they have not released Forza Horizons 4 yet. So,
but still, you never know. But yeah, and I'm sitting here looking at these prices. $80, like they're all $80, and I'm like, it's Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
That's actually probably, depending on what the exchange rate is, that's either dead on to 60 or actually maybe a little cheaper.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah. So there's that. I guess pay more attention to Canada.
Right.
All right. Nintendo has announced that there will not be a virtual console on the Switch, at least in the same way as it has been in the past.
So,
wah, wah, wah.
Bah. That's what I say.
Is that good or bad? Is that a good meh or a bad meh?
I don't know. Like the kind of argument stands that Virtual Console wasn't great. Games were kind of slow.
Had all the games.
The prices were kind of weird a lot of the time, and you'd pay $5 with it, whether it was Super Mario Brothers or like crappy NES game from whatever. Right. This also does mean too that it's kind of that big, traditional Nintendo middle finger saying like, hey, I know you bought a bunch of games on the Wii and a bunch of games again on the Wii U. Guess what? You're going to buy them a bunch again on the Switch. Like, that's just kind of crappy. And they haven't really said much about it besides that, their new online service is coming out in September. It's going to be $20 a year. It'll finally give you like cloud saves, finally. And you're going to get 20 Nintendo games with that.
Yeah, 10 at the launch, and then 10 more to come before I think the end of the year.
Yeah. And so they haven't really said by saying there's no virtual console just means that there's nothing coming out called a virtual console.
They could very well just release
it could
the
be
good games.
It could be the games.
Who knows?
They're not answering questions as to whether they're going to release N64 games on it. They're not releasing whether they're going to put GameCube games out on it. If Nintendo was smart, and I don't...
And they're not.
I don't think they are. No, like in this case...
Smart?
I think that Nintendo is a very smart company and has made some very, very good decisions. They've also made some very, very bad decisions. Now would be the perfect time to come out and say, like, you want the Netflix of Nintendo games, $15 a month.
Oof, that'd be awesome.
Right now. Like, that now is the perfect time in, like, timing from... where the internet is, where the video game market is, they would sell a bajillion Switches if they said, you want to play games, it's $15 a month, it's $20 a month. You can have access to all the NES, SNES. I mean, even with just those two, you could probably be fine.
But it would have to be all Nintendo published stuff. It couldn't be...
I don't know. Games Pass has made it work. PlayStation Now has made it work.
Okay, yeah, true. But at the same time, though, you're talking about games 20-plus years old, companies that may or may not even exist. Nobody knows where those rights are.
Yeah,
Nobody knows
I
where
don't know.
that stuff
I'm not
falls
sure.
anymore.
You know what I mean, though? I mean, I guess the thing is they had a bunch of games came... Maybe it's only ones that have been on virtual consoles before.
Right.
I don't know.
And do you really need the games that... aren't on
there probably
on the classic? Like, if they can put them on the little classic consoles, then they can.
But especially if you could get N64 games and GameCube games into that mix, they could print money and sell every single Switch they could make.
We should call this episode "Printing Money."
We should.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
I'll remember that.
But otherwise, as far as the 20, like, there's been a lot of people, like, really pissed off that it's $20 a year and all I get are cloud saves and 20 old games. Do you think the $20 a year is a justifiable price?
$20 a year is nothing.
Thank you.
I think that it is. I think it's expensive. Like, I think the thing is, I don't mind paying $60 a month for games with gold because the online experience is good. But don't forget
$60 a year.
Whatever. You still need
$60 a month versus $60 a year.
That's fair. $60 a year is works because I don't need an octopus adapter to play online with my Switch.
That's a valid point.
You know what I mean? Like, so don't forget that you still need an octopus adapter to play online with this. There right now is like one game you can play online with, and when this comes out there'll be two.
Well, no, when this comes out there'll be the two plus the 10 on that the Nintendo
and
games,
a bunch of old Nintendo games and Stardew Valley. I just don't know. Like, no, like $20 a month is legit nothing, and I'm
$20
sure
a year.
Whatever. I'm very tired. Did I not mention how tired I am?
Like $1.50 a month.
Yeah, I will pay $20 a year just to get cloud saves. As someone who has lost games that should have had cloud saves a year ago, it's worth it to me. But I don't really think, like, if you really get down to like what the value proposition of $20 a year for this Nintendo Online service is, it doesn't really math out very well.
Get?
It doesn't
enough
matter.
to save all your stuff.
Yeah. I guess that's the other thing is with cloud save. Can I also save photos to the cloud? Can I save videos to the cloud?
I'm wondering. Like,
I would imagine that
if it's a couple gigs of cloud storage, then yes, it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah,
because right now getting photos or videos off your Switch sucks.
That's a pain. You're not even lying.
So
yeah,
I guess it'll depend if I get that too. But no, I don't really think it's worth it. But I'll still pay it anyway.
So anyway, I'm curious to hear more about that. Nintendo, of course, I'm sure is going to have it all over their E3 stuff. Yeah. All right. Next, want to play Steam games on your phone? Or
your iPad?
Well, sure. Valve is soon going to let you stream Steam games to phones and tablets. Is this good?
Have you ever... Well, okay, so... Have you ever done it with like a crappy laptop? Well, you have a nice laptop. So I have a MacBook Air, but I have a gaming PC, right?
Right.
And so if I don't want to be in my office playing, whatever, I can stream my stuff from my nice gaming PC to my MacBook Air.
I mean, I've done that. I've streamed from my gaming PC to the Steam Link.
Yeah, perfect. So,
Yeah.
the same idea. And so this is just taking that one step further, So, and especially if you have a controller for your phone, or, if you have an Android, you can just do any Bluetooth controller. But the iPhone has a couple of compatible controllers as well. So you could, in theory, be sitting in bed playing, whatever with your gaming PC downstairs.
I don't know if I'd like to play Far Cry 5 on my phone.
No. But like Civ 5, sure. There's a lot of games that I think this would really, really work for. Or if you have a iPad with a keyboard, you could totally play games like Far Cry 5. No, probably not still. I mean, maybe.
I don't see why not if your computer's doing all the heavy lifting and just streaming.
Yeah. I don't know if those keyboards are really exactly made for it. But, I don't think this is something I'm going to use all the time. I don't think it's something that even most people use all the time. But the idea of it is very interesting. And just the portability of it's very interesting. And personally, I love any inroads we make into streaming video games to devices.
And to further this, Apple TV and Android-based TV platforms are also going to be able to run the software.
Oh, very cool.
So essentially turning all of those set-top boxes into
so I can stream to my Apple TV. That's cool.
So I've got my Apple TV. I've got a 4K Apple TV.
That's kind of way cooler.
That's way cooler.
Yeah. And
easy.
So I've got the 4K Apple TV upstairs, and I've got an Android TV downstairs. I'm covered.
That's pretty cool.
Holy crap.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes me so excited.
I have the Steam link that does that too. But
now I don't have to have another thing plugged into another Ethernet
I can tell you, it's one of those things that I'm not going to do all the time, and it's not perfect, especially because most Steam games want you to have a keyboard. But for those that don't, it's perfect for the you don't know Jack games. Although those kind of want you to have a keyboard too, or
Right, but think of when we when we did Extra Life or whatever, you can stream Gang Beasts to your living room rather than
having to bring
your PC out or something.
Yeah, all those games Inside or
I played Abzu that way.
Yeah, Abzu. Yeah. Stuff like that.
It's not perfect. And it really, really, really depends on how good the wireless in your house is, or if you have a wired network in your house, even better. But
it has both.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
To me, it's a step somewhere. I like that.
The free Steam Link app is going to be available for phones and tablets running Android or iOS, though Android support is going to be in beta for launch.
Yep.
That's up. And that's going to start in 2 weeks, May 21st.
Cool.
There you go. There's your stuff. There's your news. That's it. Done with news.
All gone.
We've got 10 minutes before Cliff needs to leave.
11 by my clock. We'll go.
Okay, 11 minutes, for God's sake. Up next, we have questions, and we always start with...
Hey, yo, Vinny.
That's right, that guy. And we're going into it. Then he wants to know, what is your opinion of early access games in this day and age? Are they, to an extent, ruining how some games come to be? No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And there was actually a lot of kind of chatter in the Discord about whether this is a good thing or if it was a bad thing, and how people feel about it. And I'm kind of the same way as a lot of people listen. There's a lot of cons to it. The games are coming out not finished, and it's almost like you have to wait to get developer feedback on these games in order to make your games work. And there's a huge amount of talk about whether PUBG should be able to win Game of the Year because it was in early access.
But they did still release on that date in December, just before the technical cutoff.
And my argument is that Josh in our Discord was look at PUBG and look at Fortnite. PUBG was an early access game. It's janky. It's still janky. Whereas Fortnite was a
also
very polished.
No, it's still in early access.
Yeah,
Fortnite just had a release, didn't it?
No, well, I don't think so.
I don't know how that.
Fortnite was.
It still says early access when you.
Well, but I don't know about Fortnite Battle Royale.
It's the same game that you launch the same thing.
Because remember, Fortnite was charging for their early access
kind of their weird beta thing.
I don't think they're even.
I guess maybe the difference is that early access for. Yeah, I guess it's the difference of being Steam early access versus being
just.
Early access.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's kind of a dumb term because it's just different than the way it used to be. It's never really released. If it's out there, it's released. It's out there. You can buy it. You can play it. It's going to evolve. We know that.
And to me, there's two, I don't really have any big con arguments for early access, except that occasionally I'm hesitant to buy into an early access game because I'm like, is this a game actually ever going to get finished?
Right.
But at the same time, if you buy a game and it's early access and you enjoy it, if it never does get finished, did you really lose anything?
Right. Because you're not paying necessarily full price.
And a lot of time, yeah, exactly. You can get it cheaper. Like I bought both Astroneer and Pit People early access because I knew I was getting them for like 50% off. So.
Right.
So if you spend 50% less than what retail should be for it, you get the enjoyment out of it. And it never gets released. Well, hey, cool. You got the same amount of enjoyment you may have.
Right. And in that case, I think it's kind of fair because you feel like it's a little safer of an investment. Yeah. You're helping out. You're buying the game. You're taking that risk.
I'd rather do early access than Kickstarter any day. At least I get a game. But
I still haven't gotten my Indiegogo thing.
I got my Kickstarter card game the other day.
Good for you.
Yeah. But to me, like the big advantage is that it lets indie developers make games without having to find a publisher. And sometimes they still have one, but that it lets them get some money.
Flexibility.
Yeah, there's some flexibility to it, and at the same time they're all able to actually get feedback from their user base. So a huge AAA company hires people to come give them feedback about their game. They do play tests. They do. I get EA requests for play tests all the time. Come do play tests for us. Indie developers can't afford to do that. And so it gives them that free feedback and lets them guide their game to where they want it to go. But I think that it also lets them get a game out. Like when you don't have a marketing arm for your game, early access is a really good market. It lets you build buzz up to an actual game release.
Especially if you've got, if your game is running well in early access. So the better it runs,
To me, I don't really see any downsides of the game, except, like there are games that I'm not going to want to play in early access, like a big story-driven game.
Yeah, just wait till it's done.
Just wait till it's done.
You're only going to get 4 hours, 8 hours out of it anyway.
I still may buy it in early access just to get a deal on it. Yeah.
I think it's kind of a double-edged sword in almost every case. Whoa. It's one of those things where it's great because it offers flexibility, but at the same time, flexibility can lead to like development hell.
Oh, true.
Because of early access, it's very easy to be trapped in early access. Yep. However, at the same time, I think it's awesome that you can have a game out there and be tested and slap a label on it and that says, hey, the game's not finished, so don't just say this game is crap, because it's literally not finished. And I think that's important to make that clear.
I would say that the distinction now between early access games and AAA release games is, to me, I think Destiny 2 is still in early access.
Right.
Rainbow Six Siege, arguably still in early access. Wildlands for a long time, still in early access.
You think Destiny is still an early access game?
I mean,
well, in the sense that you know that 3 new things of big content are still coming. Isn't that really the same thing?
And even more so, they released that game and people are like, well, this is not good. And so let's take it this way and see if that's better. And I mean, arguably, we're going to talk about Destiny in a second, but those games, there are so many AAA games coming out right now that people are like, wow, this game's not good. And then 6 months later, they're like, oh, this game's actually pretty good now. So
that means you're in early access.
That means you're in early access.
So it's basically just, what do you feel comfortable calling it?
Right. It's really silly, but it's important to say, hey, it's not done.
Early access is probably honestly more honest.
Right, exactly, because you don't want people buying your game and then saying, hey, this game sucks. But secretly it wasn't done. Yeah, that's not fair to anybody.
The downside is you just can't put Destiny 2 out in early access. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you could,
yeah, why not?
It might be a better game.
Yeah. Or maybe we move towards you release a smaller section of the game because that's done.
Yeah.
Then move on.
I don't know.
They know
almost the way that you can do you can play a game as it installs on your Xbox. It's
right.
I
think, the Telltale games release in episodes. Like Hitman did the same thing. They released in episodes. So there was 5 big parts of the game that you could play. You could buy and purchase and play each one separately, or you could buy the whole game. Yeah, that's a little different, but
they released episodically.
They had different. Yeah, you got it over time. You could buy it up front, and you would just instantly get each one.
I think you're going to see more and more games work that way, though, where where they're
it's
not
smart.
where we're looking at alternate ways of publishing.
Yeah, and if you need to
versus
get it
one
out there
big
so
drop.
you can get money, then release something that's good if it's not going to be in early access. If it's in early access, you can forgive all the lack of polish and wonkiness and jankiness that there is. But
I think it's
enough.
if it launches, it should be a good game.
Yeah.
If you're going to say, hey,
If you're saying it's not an early access, you should have no flaws. Give us that day one patch to fix any weird things. But other than that, that's
it should
all
be
you
pretty
get.
good at that
That's all you
point.
get.
But
I would like to see a way for AAA developers to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Vinny, for that very
It was good.
good question. All right.
Solid.
Oh, solid, bro.
that was fire.
Optimist Prime wants to know if you guys had to open a video game themed restaurant, what would be on the menu?
A game with really good food.
I just
Zelda?
Well, we've had this question before.
Have we?
Yep, because I said that I would want to have stuff from Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh, well, crap. Apparently,
done this
the
one
question
before.
master was not very good at duplicating
Question
questions
mastering.
today. Yeah,
Maybe
sorry.
Cliff wasn't there that day.
No, I probably was. I just have a really bad memory.
But I mean, but to further it, why it would be a Zelda restaurant? Because literally, I need 3 ingredients, and I can make something that gives me all the hearts.
and they can keep you warm at the same
Yes,
time. That's pretty
or
cool.
make me run faster, or make me cold.
What about
Or
what's that cooking game you hate?
oh man, Overcooked.
An overcooked
F
food
that
restaurant.
Is the chef in Overcooked.
Nope.
He makes you the worst tomato soup you've ever had.
I am officially out of that restaurant.
You're out of-
I will call
was thinking,
Gordon Ramsay, and he can come in and run it for me. And
I think
I'm done.
Final Fantasy 15 would be a great restaurant.
Oh, because they have that cooking guy.
Cup noodles. Because it's just got cup noodles. Low overhead.
So
Profit.
where the place I lived in Michigan when I lived there, there was a steak place, except they only sold like super exotic animals.
Here, come in, have some cheetah.
Like not that exotic, like legal but exotic. And so like maybe we could start a Far Cry 5 themed restaurant.
That'd be great. We can
Right?
have Bliss burgers.
Yeah, no, you should not eat a Bliss burger. Don't eat the Bliss burger.
It's called a Bliss Burger.
Yeah, it's called a Bliss burger because
you go.
after you eat the burger, you will feel so much bliss and probably be a little high, but
little
whatever.
It'd be tasty.
and I can control your mind.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Can I say that I want a Harry Potter themed restaurant because there have been Harry Potter games, and I want it to be better than the crappy Harry Potter restaurant at Universal Studios.
Okay.
Is it that bad?
No, nothing was themed there.
Well, it is because British food is just bland. Like that's the point. Like they had real British food. It's just that's not very good.
I think the thing is they talk
Snags
about
and bangers and bangers and mash only go so far.
They talk so much about food in that movie and those books, and none of that food was
Right, but you're in Diagon Alley. You're not in the wizard world.
Whatever.
You're just at the restaurant in England, essentially.
all right.
So
Either way, I was not.
it was.
You were at a resort in California.
Yeah, I wanted.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Like I liked having bangers and mash. Like I was like, this is cool. Like
I don't even know what that is. What is it? Just meat and potatoes?
sausage and potatoes.
Yeah, okay.
Bangers or sausages.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really meh. Whatever.
I hope our dear friend Peter that works at Microsoft who helped us meet our extra life goal, I hope he hears you say that because he's from the UK.
Oh no! I went to the UK and had food. It was great.
And he loves Harry Potter.
It's good. It's just there's not a lot of
my point with
spice. It's not
my point wasn't that it was bland. It was that there's a ton of food.
That was his thing.
There's a ton of food they talk about
Butterbeer's
in
great.
those movies and those books, and none of that food was for sale at this place.
It was magical,
Right?
It's not real.
You can't.
You had
eat
the butterbeer. Be happy.
The butterbeer was good.
It was good.
The butterbeer was really good.
Is it-
I tried
is
all
it
3
literally
kinds.
beer with butter?
No.
Just cream soda that's super creamy and frothy, and there's a frozen one and a not frozen one, and the frozen one's pretty good.
But wait, so butterbeer is not boozy?
No.
No.
The kids
Like
drink
root
it, yo.
beer. Ginger beer.
Well,
Root
that's
beer,
why I always
butterbeer.
thought it was weird. But
It's not boozy.
No, it's not. It's good. It's real good.
It's not
I
stupid.
don't want it anymore.
We can make it boozy.
We have a problem.
Do you have non-alcoholic root beer? No, you just have root beer.
Have you
ever had alcoholic root beer? Because it's
Well, that's what I'm
really
saying, but
good.
it's called alcoholic root beer. You don't buy
No, it's actually called My Father's Root Beer.
That's
Is
what
what
I'm
it's
saying.
called. That's the brand.
It's really good.
Traditionally, like,
Yeah,
the
I
root
know.
beer is just...
Anyway,
Yeah, I know you're right. Stop.
beer doesn't necessarily
I have
mean
negative 1
alcohol.
minute. Let's get Tommy's question
All
done.
right, Tommy 2, thank you, Optimus Prime, for that. Tommy 2 Inches wants to know, does Destiny 2 have any hope with their new expansion dropping? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think they ever I don't think Destiny 2 never had no hope. I don't think they ever ran out of hope.
People
People turned on it, that's for sure.
people turned on it and people weren't playing it.
Yeah, but I was the amount of people playing it so few
Yes.
that they were like, dude,
It's in the
we're
Humble Bundle.
done.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but you know what?
They're
they
giving it
still
away for
sold
$12.
But they still sold
They
how many?
still sold a
millions
lot of them,
copies?
but that game has been, over the last 3 or 4 months, I don't know if I've read like a single positive article about that game. They
Or seen much anything at all,
Yeah, they
really.
kept trying to fix it. They kept trying to fix it, and they just kept messing it up. But apparently this DLC, along with all the changes they've made, are addressing a ton of the issues that people have with it. The DLC is not super long, but they've changed a lot of that like end game grind where it's really weird. People are complaining about like there's just not enough grind in this game. It's the only game in the world but people want to grind for
I'll never
exotics.
say that ever.
They want to do that strike over and over and over again and get something out of it. There's new raids like this is, but the thing is, I did it for months in Destiny. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah,
so
no, not for me.
Well, I just don't like.
but I think that yes, this is the patch that is going to make Destiny 2 come back.
I hate calling it a patch. I hate calling it as though there was something wrong with it to begin with, because so the first Destiny comes out, everybody loses their collective minds, pisses and moans and blah, 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 blah. 2 expansions later, they come out, here's this thing, we fixed it, look how great it is, and it's great. And they went rolling into Destiny 2 with everything on track to be just as good, if not better, than when the Taken King came.
But they didn't.
What did they not have?
It was the big changes to the end game. Like they broke the entire end game in Destiny 2 where all your exotics were the same. So you couldn't customize exotics, which is where the grind comes from in that game, where you want randomized exotics that you want a certain build out, and the build outs are all the same.
See, this is all very, very nerdy to me.
Oh yeah. It's a super, super nerdy
Adam was just
game,
having fun. Other
I'm
people
like, I
have
go into it
reasons
to play
they don't
a
like
game and
it.
have fun, and I didn't realize.
Yeah,
that,
no, it was
Man.
almost all end game. And so, and they
y'all
just
need to lighten up.
Well, but when you buy a game that you expect, when
Right.
you play
No,
Destiny
I
1, you
understand.
expect you're going to get 500 hours of this game.
Right.
And you don't.
And you don't.
Then you're kind of...
I mean, I easily put I'm going to say probably 100 hours into that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then you were just getting to the end game.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. But, it was running the raids over and over and over. I mean, it's kind of how, like...
I've never done a raid.
Yeah, I tried one. We died.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of how Warcraft works. You play, you get to, from 60 to 70 in 3 days, and then the rest of your time is just doing the raids over and over and over again to get better gear, to grind better stuff. And so it's a very specific type of gamer that wants to play that game, and that gamer was not satisfied with the release of Destiny
And
1.
I'm assuming that Tommy 2 Inches is that type of gamer.
I'm not sure. Does he even play Destiny?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Well, I hope
anymore.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't call
'Cause-
you a nerd in particular. If this is your jam, I apologize. But at the same time, I am not cut from the same cloth
He's
as
a
you.
nerd, too. Don't listen to him.
I'm
Just a
not
different nerd.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm not a
You've got
nerd.
a
I've got a
Spock
spot
t-shirt
cat on my shirt.
Look in your window.
That doesn't make me
Yes,
a
it
nerd.
does.
That does not
Absolutely does.
It
Don't
does.
deny it.
You, sir.
Denial.
You've got a top notch. Shut up. All right, Tommy 2 Inches, thank you for that question. If you have questions for us, drop us in our Discord or email us, bitemepodcast.com, or post it on Facebook or whatever, stuff and things. All right. Cheap free games. Let's wrap. Cheap free games. Let's wrap this up.
There you go.
Humble Bundle monthly for June. It is on the way, and one of the games included is
Destiny 2. Destiny 2 for $12.
Yeah, on PC, which
Means it
they
didn't do very
the
well.
original Destiny didn't come out on PC at all.
I think it did. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't know. I bought it on the Xbox. I'm not sure.
But anyway, this Destiny 2 on PC is probably the far superior place.
I was going to say, arguably, it's the best place to play it because
Yeah.
you can play it in super high res, 4K, unlocked frame rate with an Xbox controller. Those are my favorite
And
things.
you could probably have crossplay with Xbox.
No, there's no crossplay.
PC
Nope.
to Xbox?
Nope,
Xbox
they're all
to
the
PC?
same. They're all separate.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so which I was disappointed in because I would love to pull
Yeah.
my hunter into my into my thing.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah, seriously, $12 for a game that's 6 months old
I've already bought it.
or 7 months old.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah, do that.
Do that.
It's a Humble Bundle. And you should make sure when you do that, you go to our website, bitemepodcast.com/humble,
Yes.
and subscribe via that little portal there, because we'll make $10
Or something.
Yeah. And then we can go buy a milkshake.
I love milkshakes.
Right.
Can we buy a milkshake even if someone doesn't buy it?
Sure.
Cool.
We don't we owe ourselves like 3 or 4 cakes at this point?
At least, minimum.
If you are an Amazon Prime member, that means you're a Twitch Prime member. So the Fortnite freebies are coming to Twitch Prime. The Fortnite Twitch Prime pack number 2 includes some new clothes and a new emote.
Yeah.
And a new whacker tool.
A new
What's
whacker tool. Plus there's a bunch of free games in there too if you haven't gotten those yet.
Yeah. It's pretty good too, again.
Didn't a buddy of yours get the last one and like sell some of the stuff in it for actual like real money? One of the other Twitch Prime crates? Like got a shirt in it or something? I swore you had a friend that sold it.
No, that was a PUBG.
Oh, it was a PUBG one. But it was from Twitch, wasn't it?
What?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't even know this. So Twitch Prime, which you get if you have Amazon Prime, you get ad-free viewing on Twitch. You get a free channel subscription every month.
Yep.
Discounts on physical releases, blah, 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 free monthly. I knew all that. But I didn't know that I could subscribe to a channel every month.
Yeah, I do that every month.
What? I'm dumb. Anyway, this month's pack includes the Battle Royale Trailblazer outfit, Battle Royale True North back bling.
Back bling.
Backpack?
Yep. The back bling's the new. You now have
The
items
Royal
on your back.
Tenderizer pickaxe.
Yeah, it looks
That's the
pretty cool.
smasher thinger.
Whacker tool.
And the Battle Royale freestyling emote. So do that if you have the Twitch/Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Is that it?
That is it.
Or where are you going?
I am going to a track meet.
You need to get there. Why are you wasting your time?
Medal ceremony, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
leaving now.
go.
Because he has to run at the track meet. If he runs now, he's going to be tired.
I don't run for anything.
Right. Find us online, bitemepodcast.com, BYTEMepodcast.com/humble if you want to buy some stuff via Humble Bundle and give us some money, and on the social medias and stuff and things. And we love you and
Hugs.